All right, if you want to attract a boyfriend or a girlfriend, then this is a really important video because you probably don't realize it, but you're actually sabotaging yourself by wanting it, by trying to get it. And it sucks pretty bad because you don't realize it's happening. I can say that with confidence because that's what happened to me. And I did end up attracting a girlfriend, but it was a up relationship. It was really awful. And so if you do attract a boyfriend or a girlfriend, what will happen is it's going to be a bad relationship unless you do this. And so you got to ask yourself a simple question. Why do you want it? And when I look back at the relationship before I met my wife, Ashley, I wanted it because I felt alone. And the woman she's gorgeous. She's so beautiful and she's a really cool person too. But we weren't the right fit. And I knew that, but I forced it anyways. And because I didn't want to be alone and I thought she was really pretty and she was cool, but we weren't the right fit at all. And so ask yourself deep down, why do you want this? And what void are you trying to fill from within yourself? And when you get there, what you find out is it generally stems back from childhood trauma. Not to go really deep down the rabbit hole. But for example, there's this girl I used to date a lot. We were in high school. Off and on, off and on, off and on. And she grew up without either of her parents. Her grandparents raised her. And her dad was an alcoholic and he lived on the other side of the country. He never saw her ever. And so she had really bad trauma from that, obviously. And so she never had a male influence in her life. Because she never had a male influence in her life, she sought one, first of all. So she was always in a relationship. As soon as we break up, she had a new boyfriend. Then they break up, then we were back together. Then she had it was a constant revolving door. I call that a recyclable relationship. A recyclable relationship is a relationship that most people have, and that's why 50% of people end up in divorce. A recyclable relationship is when you don't go within yourself first to your own childhood trauma and your own feelings of inadequacy. If you don't go there first and find out what's making your clock tick, so to speak, you can attract relationships, but they're recyclable because they're there to fill a void or to kill time. And we don't realize that, but that's why they keep recycling. So here's this woman, she's gorgeous, and she keeps going from one to another to another to another because she didn't have a male influence in her life growing up, so she sought one. And second of all, she could never keep a relationship and she would always sabotage them because even though she was gorgeous and smart, she felt unworthy of a man's love because she never had a man's love. And so she would always sabotage the relationship, first of all with me and then with everyone else. And that's why it was boom, 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 recycle, 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 recycle. And so you ask yourself, what happened when I was younger? Like, what did you see with your parents? How did you internalize that? And more importantly, how are you creating that in your life today? And what happens is, once you go within yourself, you realize that the relationship is almost like overeating food. When you already are full, but you just keep snacking, but you don't need the food, but you need you want the stimulation. You're addicted to the stimulation. That's what most relationships are like. We don't really need it, but we really want it. And instead, when you're already full, instead of snacking more, maybe you go on a run. Then you get all this dopamine, you feel good, right? You don't need it anymore. You change the vibration, you change the energy, the food's off the pedestal, and you feel complete. Well, the exact same thing has to happen to attract the ideal boyfriend or girlfriend into your life. It's the exact same scenario. You have to be able to say, it, I don't need it. I don't need it. And at first, it might be you forcing it. And you might be like, but I do need it. I really want it. I don't want to be alone. No, I didn't really mean that. And it's like this weird push and pull. But you have to start saying that to yourself. And then the next thing out of that is you have to look at why you aren't okay being alone. And for me, I wasn't okay being alone because I had dropped out of college. I backpacked around the world, wrote my first book about it. My career hadn't really taken off, and I was burnt out. I had worked really hard and I was a little disappointed. And so I wanted to escape from my reality a little because I didn't know what to do or where to go. I didn't have clarity. I was a little confused in my life. And I had worked really hard, so I was pretty burnt out. I got out of my exercise routine. I was way too skinny, so I didn't really feel that fit and strong in my body. And I just didn't feel that great. And so I was trying to get with someone that I thought was really good looking as a way to validate myself. That was a big thing for me. It was self-validation because I sucked at everything in life growing up except for sports. I was a first team All-San Diego basketball player. I got into tons of trouble. And so validation through achievement, through something exterior, was how I validated myself to my mom. And so the same scenario replays. That's why going back into the childhood is important, because while I wasn't playing sports anymore, I was then seeking validation through trying to get someone super hot. And then, yeah, look at me. Mom, look how hot she is. Instagram, look how hot she is. Everyone, look how hot she is. And that validation was causing me to ignore things within myself. For one, after we broke up, I realized I lacked any clarity on where to go forward. The first thing I wanted to write this book, I wrote the book. So then after that, I was done. I didn't have any new goal. I didn't have a purpose in my life. I wasn't exercising anymore. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't meditating. I wasn't doing the things that made me personally feel better. So the question is, what makes you feel good? And how can you do more of that in your life? Instead of, I want to be with someone so we can watch movies, so we can have sex, so we can travel. Whatever it is, do those things alone. Go travel on your own. If you want someone to travel with, go travel on your own. And then you're going to meet the epic person while you're traveling. I always make this joke that when you don't need the relationship anymore, it'll happen in aisle 7 of the grocery store when you drop the beans, and then you'll drop the beans, and then they'll say, "Are these your beans?" And you say, "Yeah, those are my beans." It actually just happened to my dad the other day. My dad was in the grocery store, and this lady kept looking at him and smiling at him over and over, and after the second time in different aisles, he finally went up and just said, "Hey, I noticed you were smiling at me a lot. Was that just a friendly smile or an I'm interested smile?" And it happened in the grocery store. I don't know if it was aisle 7, but it's the same idea. It comes when you let go of it. So then you go, what am I neglecting in my own life? Is it my goals? Is it my finances? Is it my health? Is it my spirituality? Are there relationships I need to heal? Right? Because it might be that deep down, you're really angry at your dad, but you want a boyfriend, but you have a bunch of unsolved trauma with your dad. Until you can heal that trauma with your dad, then you can't attract the ideal man because you've associated that men are in a certain way. It might be with your ex and you're still angry at your ex. You have to let go of it. That was a huge step for me because I got really depressed actually. One of the first times in my adult life that I had got really depressed was when the woman finally broke up with me. She basically cheated on me and I was super depressed because I sought validation from the relationship and then, well, what happened to the relationship? Well, she went with another guy. Bam! All of a sudden I lose all my self-esteem and self-image from that because I associated having the prize with my validation the same way I did with sports. And so I took a step back, and after I was really depressed, I was like, you know what? This was not the right relationship. And looking back, what changed in my life where I finally met Ashley, and it happened out of nowhere. I got a phone call from my book agent. My book agent said he was having a last-minute birthday party. One of his friends was bringing a daughter from out of state that was really cute, and he wanted me to meet her. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going. And then I was finally like, all right, I'll go. And then I met her, and that's how that's how my wife and I met. And I didn't meet her until I was able to forgive my previous ex for being with another guy, for leaving me, and realizing that she actually did me a favor. Because during that time that she left me before I met Ashley, after I went through my depression period, my life got on fire. My speaking career started blowing up. I ended up selling 20,000 copies of that self-published book out of the trunk of my car. I got a book deal with Penguin Random House, the #1 English publishing company in the world, at 22 years old. Like, all this crazy stuff started happening in my life. I got back into really good shape, and I stopped seeking a relationship, and I started saying, I'm going to build the best life for myself ever. And then in that process, it became complete once I was able to send love to my ex and to thank them. Because not only would I have not met Ashley, but I wouldn't have figured out my career, my clarity, who I was. I would have just stayed in this relationship with this person I thought was hot that really wasn't a fit, that stopped me from finding my own weaknesses within myself that I had to improve upon. And when you move through that process, then what happens is you realize that you don't have to go to find love. Love will find you once you first find love for yourself, and you find love for your inner child, and you go to those deep places and heal those parts of yourself, and you heal old relationships. Then the love finds you, because your outside relationships in your life are just a mirror. That's all they are, that reflect back to you your own relationship with yourself. And I'll repeat that. The relationships in your life, all of them, and not just romantic, the quality of them are a direct reflection of your relationship with yourself. Which, if we go back to the gal I was dating in high school, that her parents left her, she didn't have her dad, she was always in a recyclable relationship. She was super insecure, like one of the most insecure people I ever met in my whole life. So she had a lot of issues with herself. So she had a poor self-relationship, which meant every relationship she was in was poor, which created the recyclable relationships. But once I go within myself and I heal my relationship with myself, my outside relationships match that. Then you don't need to force it. You don't have to go watch all these dating channels and be like, when they send this text, you do this. If they look at you like this, then you lift your right shoulder, and that's the best body language movement back to them. And then when they flare their nostrils, that means they want you to take your shirt off. All this weird shit like that. It's silly. All of relationships come when I heal relationship with self, and I find out what my issues are. And when I find out what my issues are, and I heal those issues, which oftentimes is just simply becoming aware of them and sitting with them instead of running from them. It's not like a 48-step process. It's just, what are my issues? Well, I'm seeking validation. Well, I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z. Well, I don't feel worthy of love, whatever it is for you. And then once I find them, then I'm free from that energy. It's almost like the energy releases from my system. I raise my point of attraction, and then I start to change the types of people that I'm attracting back into my life to match that new energy. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I have a free success hypnosis. It's right there down below. It's in the description, and it's pinned to the comments. It's my free success hypnosis that I made. It was shortly after that woman left me. And I started listening to it all the time, every morning, every night. And I started reprogramming my subconscious because I realized I had all these crappy belief systems about myself. And it changed my life forever. Shortly thereafter was when I got my first major book deal. And then eventually my YouTube channel went viral, and all these crazy awesome things started happening in my life. And you can use it for free. It's right there down below. Just listen to it for a couple minutes. It'll start to reprogram your subconscious, make you more confident, make you feel more alive, help you attract more awesome things, financial abundance, great relationships in your life. About 1 million people from all over the world have used it, and every day I get these awesome stories of people saying all these cool things happen. So I give it away for free. All I ask in return is leave me a comment down below to let me know some awesome things that come into your life from using it. So you can check it out, jakeshypnosis.com, pinned to the comments and in the description. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to let me know. You can hit the good old-fashioned like button, subscribe, and bell notification notifies you for new videos. Let me know in the comments right there down below. I love myself, and I'll go ahead and link a couple other videos you could check out as well. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day. Go like this, and I'll see you next time.